Are you one of those people who loves crisp, light white wines? The sort of person who orders Sauvignon Blanc when you're in a bar or buys a bottle of Chablis when you're treating yourself for a night in? If so, then let me introduce you to something else you'll adore. A wine from Spain that's bright, citrus-scented and great value. I'm Patrick Schmitt, Master of Wine and Editor-in-Chief at The Drinks Business, and I'm here to tell you about Rueda, a white wine producing area in northern Spain that's booming in its home nation, but relatively undiscovered by the wider world. In fact, Rueda, which is located about 2 hours drive north of Madrid, is the source of Spain's best-selling white wine, with more than 40% of the market. So what makes it such a success in its home nation? Well, it's both refreshing and affordable. Almost entirely made from a grape called Vedeco, Rueda can be compared to cool climate Sauvignon Blanc, with flavours of lime and grapefruit. But rather than having the gooseberry, grassy character of Sauvignon, the whites of Rueda tend to have a refreshing herbal note, sometimes with a subtle taste of fennel. As for the cost, Rueda isn't one of those wines that's delicious but inaccessibly priced. And it delivers all its appealing traits without charging the earth. The character of Rueda is also unique. Its intense, distinctive and refreshing taste results from a combination of Spanish native grape Vedeco and Rueda's extreme continental climate, plus its high altitude vines rooted deeply into soils so stony they look like pebble beaches. In essence, Rueda is not something that can be replicated elsewhere, especially as 10% of Rueda's vineyards are over 40 years old, with some more than 100, giving a depth to the wines that you just won't get with a young vine. And while the region was officially created in 1980, its wine-producing origins can be traced back to the Middle Ages. This is an ancient vine-growing landscape. Finally, although Rueda is primarily a citrus-fresh, light, white wine based on Vedeco, there are variations in style. Some of this relates to other grape varieties planted in the region, such as Sauvignon Blanc, which is sometimes blended with Vedeco to give an additional aromatic layer. And some of this variation relates to winemaking techniques, with the region also home to richer, barrel-influenced whites and historic fortified wines, not unlike sherry. In all, the wines of this Spanish region are brilliant partners to a range of cuisines. But for me, when you're sinking into a plate of seafood, think of Rueda. Now let's consider the flavours of Rueda by tasting 6 different benchmark wines, taking in the key styles of the region, starting with sparkling. Yes, the region makes fizz, and this one, using Vedeco, employs the same winemaking methods as champagne, but costs less than £10. It's called Cantazan Brut, so let's taste it. It's good, with fine, mouth-filling bubbles, a creamy texture, followed by citrus zest on the finish, and notes of toast and almonds. Next, we have a still white wine, and it's a pure Vedeco bottled under a brand called Pregón, loosely translating as proclamation. So what does it tell us? Well, it cries out for crab meat with its super fresh apple and lime zest flavours and a hint of bitter almond, giving bite to the finish. All this for around £7. Next, we have a pure Sauvignon Blanc from a producer called Castelló de Medina. So, if you're looking outside France or New Zealand for your Sauvignon fix, then try this. Yes, with its lively mix of citrus, pineapple, lemongrass, and a touch of crunchy capsicum, it's a delicious fresh glass of Sauvignon. Now, back to Rueda's native grape of Vedeco. We have the superior variant from Caserio de Duenas. This one's a bit pricier, costing just over £10, a result of top quality grapes and some barrel influence, but you'll get plenty of additional character for your cash. It has notes of juicy pink grapefruit, some bitter almond, and a delicious, slightly oily texture that would make this suitable for anything with creamy sauces. Also offering something a touch on the pricier side by Rueda standards, and made entirely with Vedeco, is this richly flavoured white from Campo Eliseo, costing between £10 and £15 and aged in a range of formats from French oak barrels to egg-shaped concrete vats. It has a wonderful array of characters. These include zesty lemon, lime to pear, and then a delicious overlay of vanilla and cashew. Finally, we have a historic wine of the region called Dorado. It's made in a similar way to sherry in that it's fortified and then aged for long periods in oak barrels, giving it a uniquely appealing mix of flavours. These range from vanilla to toast, dried apricot to raisins, while finishing nutty, fresh and dry. God, it's good. In fact, just bring me a plate of Spanish almonds and I'll be an even happier man than I am right now, sipping this fantastic and historic taste of Rueda. So, with that said, remember Rueda, be it for its citrus-scented, affordable whites for seafood, barrel-aged, oily fresh wines for creamy dishes, or nutty, sherry-like drops for sipping and snacking. Salud!